Okay guys, let's review the 4th-gen Tacoma. We've had our Tacoma now for 3 weeks. Driven it in town, stock, now with the 35s, and there's a bunch of stuff that we've kind of made note of compared to the 3rd gens. Whether they're good or bad, I think it's completely up to the driver, but there are some things to consider. Hidden gems on the Taco. I'll show you a few of them. Check this out. They put a little Tacoma with a taco on it. That's pretty cool. They have Tacoma written in the headlight, and then also right here they have a cool little logo that says Toyota Trucks with a small little mount range on it. Okay, another interesting thing is here on the bed, what they did is the 3rd-gen Tacoma, the back part of the bed had a probably 2-inch width area that where if you're going to put on like a bed rack or anything, there's a good area to seal around. But for these 4th-gen Tacomas, the bed actually goes in toward the vehicle. You have this upper kind of sport fin thing coming out. So the bed presses in, the truck pushes out, which makes it kind of interesting. If you're going to put a camper on, they're going to have to make some sort of platform that actually mounts back here so that they can go straight up and then over. So that's kind of a cool little, I don't know if it's cool, but just a difference between the 2nd gen and the 4th gen. That's going to make it different for product development for some of these campers and bed covers and stuff. There's basically a weather strip that goes right here. Instead of that full weather strip, what they've done now is it's just 2 clips. This one's about 12 inches long, this one's about 10 inches long, and those are the things that you're going to remove to be able to install roof racks and stuff like that. So no full piece, now it's just 2 little pieces, and the rest of the roof is sealed. Still have the original fin up top that's basically the same size, and then you have this additional fin off the back. The paint job on the fin isn't the best. You'll see right here that it's not even painted around the edge, it's literally just painted on the top, so you can still see some of the black plastic showing on the edge of it. Another thing that we noticed was when I dropped the tailgate, it does have the auto drop feature where it's slow drop. And then they moved the bed lights to the middle and eliminated any of the storage components back here and the electrical. Some people really like the electrical, some people never used it, but it's interesting that they put the bed lights in the middle instead of kind of out of the way like they have on the 23s. Then this bed, this tailgate is like super light, and it's aluminum. And then we got our bed sides, also aluminum. Cab is obviously going to be steel, same with the beds. Then you got your front fender, steel, hood, aluminum. Then obviously the front part of the vehicle, the bumper is going to be plastic. But it's interesting how the back part of the vehicle is aluminum with still the composite bed, basically a steel body in front fenders, and then aluminum hood, plastic front part. Kind of interesting. What's interesting is the gas tank actually with the skids sits lower than the chassis. So it'll be interesting what kind of skid plates come out for this for the 4th-gen Tacoma, because there's definitely going to need to be some gas tank protection made, because it does not sit up very high into the vehicle. The other interesting thing is that the 4th gens do not come with any skid plates in the front. The skid plate in the front is like paper. It's like a felt. It's not metal. Like, it's literally just for aerodynamics, and that's it. So not meant to have an impact. So upgrades on front skid plates are going to be a need for the 4th-gen Tacoma if you're planning on off-roading frequently. Instead of having the traditional Toyota drum brakes in the rear, the 4th-gen finally got disc brakes, just a single piston, which is a substantial upgrade from those disc brakes, or from the drum brakes. Panhard correction kit, we're going to end up making one for the 4th-gen Tacoma, because as you go up, with them being coil sprung instead of leaf sprung, the higher you go, the more likely that axle is going to shift toward the driver's side, causing irregularities with acceleration and braking. Lug nuts on the traditional, or on the 3rd-gen Tacoma, are a 12 by 1.5. And they upgraded them to the Tundra size, which is a 14 1.5. So the lug nut or the lug stud that comes out of the wheels is a little beefier. And then they also made from hub to hub, the Tacoma is substantially wider than the 3rd gen Tacoma. So to get poke or to have your wheels stick out on the 3rd gen Tacoma, you needed a negative offset to push those wheels out. -12 to -15 ended up being the most popular offset that we were selling. But on these, if you throw in a -12, you're gonna stick out 3 inches on a 35-inch tire. So a lot of the wheels that you're gonna start seeing going on these Tacomas are gonna be anywhere from 0 to positive, probably 25, positive 30. And what that does is it puts the hub of the tire more in the center of the wheel instead of pushing that wheel further out. So hopefully that creates a better environment for the hubs and the bearings and everything within that assembly to last longer. Powertrain, the 4-liter turbocharged isn't necessarily making a ton of power, but it's the 8-speed transmission that makes all the difference. We have 35s in our Tacoma, and it does not lack any power. It doesn't necessarily get up and go fast very quickly. It does have some oomph, but it has the power needed to move some bigger tires efficiently. We're gonna be tossing 37s on this, and from what we've heard, the truck still performs great with 37s when on the 3rd gen, it was not good. So, LED headlights, built-in fogs. They gave you more area up here in the engine bay. Put the battery back there. You now have 2 fuse boxes that are easily accessible. Some of the interior differences that we noticed or we're taking note of was previously a bunch of the plastic structure within the Tacoma was pretty thick on the 3rd gen, but on these 4th gens, it's pretty thin. Like this door handle right here, you can see that it like moves when you add a little bit of pressure to it. Like these aren't super thick, and I think there was no need to make them any thicker than they are. This little guy right here, this little handle moves a little bit, so definitely the plastic structure of the vehicle is a little thinner. Electrical wise, they did give you 2 45-watt electrical plugins, and then there's also a side port as well, which is kind of nice for the passenger because someone can plug in their phone there and leave their phone right here. The frame actually comes where your wheel sits. It goes up, down, and then, or goes up and then comes back down to the rear and then runs across for your hitch. But your hitch on the 3rd gen Tacoma took 4 bolts on each side for you, and you could remove the whole hitch assembly. But on these new 4th gens, it's all welded in. And you can see right here where the chassis comes across, comes down, and then comes out, welded in along with the hitch. So there's no removing this. So for some of the new high clearance bumpers that are going to be coming out, I guarantee you they're going to require some sort of cutting to the back side of the chassis if you're wanting something super high clearance, because otherwise that'll be your lowest departure point and it's not changing unless you're cutting up something on the frame. So it'll be interesting to see what manufacturers do, bumper manufacturers do with this piece. They gave you way more spots for accessories, first of all, but the ones down here will also come with plugs that are already wired into the engine bay, and that you have to use that. I think there's 3 or 4 of them right in here that go into the engine bay, and you use a pigtail and plug in up front. Another cool little thing right here is they toss in this little circular thing. We're not sure what it's for. There's nothing in there and whatnot, but when you scan this QR code, it takes you to their accessories that you can buy for the vehicle. I don't know what anybody's going to put there, what that's going to be used for, but it'll be interesting to see if someone comes up with something unique. I think those are our insights for the 4th gen Tacoma. We're excited to see what this vehicle can do. We're actually taking it off-roading this weekend into some trails that are a little bit more difficult. We don't have any protection on it, so we'll obviously be taking some byways if it deems too difficult. We don't want to damage anything. And then once we get all of our armor on, we'll see what this truck can do. Let us know what you think about our comments, our opinions on the new Tacoma down below. Do you think some of these changes are good, bad? Let us know. And if you could, support the channel, shoot us a follow, like, subscribe. We appreciate it a ton, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.